Hey everybody, my name is Fish, and today we are going to be playing some Xbox One live Overwatch gameplay. I mostly record on Twitch, so if you guys want to check me out over at twitch.tv/WittedFish. And today we will be talking about a huge pain or a huge beauty, Tracer, her abilities, and some of her lore. Now, Tracer is the call sign for Lena Oxton, one of the best pilots in the world. She was invited into Overwatch's experimental flight program. She was the youngest in the program, and with her fearless piloting skills, she was picked to fly an experimental teleporting fighter called the Slipstream. Unfortunately, on the first flight, the teleportation matrix malfunctioned and both pilots and aircraft were lost. It was at this point that everyone thought Lena might be dead. Months later, Tracer would appear again, only to disappear shortly after a little bit of time. It seems that Tracer may have actually been bouncing through past lives or time, as she had strange dreams where she was a kitchen maid in a large house in the country. Luckily for her, we all know that the gorilla, Winston, came to her aid. Since Tracer suffers from something called chronal dissociation, which means that she can't stay in the present time, Winston created a chrono accelerator. This helps keep her anchored in the present. Tracer still has the ability to control her own time, though, which is where we get to see her flash forward and backwards in time, which gives her blink and recall. Her weapon loadout is actually a pair of weak pulse pistols. I say weak, I should probably say, powerful in the right hands. They are a rapid-fire hit-scan weapon. Hit-scan just means that the projectile from your gun hits a target in game, and the programmers can kind of mess around with what hit scan really means for their game. The rate of fire is 40 rounds per second with a 1 second reload time, making them incredibly effective in close range, which is where you would want to try and play Tracer. That blink ability really gives you the ability to get in there close and take out your enemies very swiftly. Her damage fall off is what kills her, though. At 11 to 30 meters, you're going to see your damage just go straight out the window. So you need to play your targets close and go for the extra headshot damage if you can. Her overall damage is 1.5 to 6 per round. I've been looking around at all the different headshot criticals and seen people estimate that they go anywhere between 1.2 to 2.0 damage, depending on which character you're talking about. If you know Tracer's crit, please comment down below, because I really couldn't find a very reliable source to kind of let me know what exactly it is, to be honest with you. So if you add all that together, 1.5 times the 40 rounds that she actually has in her magazine, you end up with 60 damage, which is, it's not that bad. For a harasser, that's what she's meant to do. Get in there, do a little bit of damage, get the hell out. That's what she's good at. But if you can get in there and play it close, you get 240 damage just shooting them in the chest. So if you can go ahead and get some critical headshots in there, you're going to drop your enemies like nothing. It goes so quickly. Sometimes I'll get really good headshots and take somebody out really, really fast. I'm like, oh, I'm done. And then I just blink out of there. That's usually the way that I do this. So if you can keep up with her speed, which is another problem, a lot of people have difficulty kind of like blinking around and then getting back on target. I understand that that's difficult. That just comes with practice. So you're going to have to play around with her. My suggestion would be to go in and play against bots, something like that, just to get used to that, blinking in, getting in behind them, and then turning around and shooting them in the back. You might also want to turn up her sensitivity a little bit, because that'll help you kind of swing around on your enemies. Tracer's blink ability is what allows you to get in close quickly. Use this to get in behind your enemies. Try and flank around them. Go for healers and soft targets first. If you could knock out their Mercy, oh man, it makes them so mad. Trust me, whenever I'm a Mercy and I'm getting hunted by a Tracer, it's the worst thing ever. Its maximum range for Tracer's blink ability is 7 meters, and each blink has a cooldown of 3 seconds, which is relatively fast. So, use 2 and save 1. If you get in there real quick and then hit them real fast and then run back out with that last blink, that'll kind of save your health, because you're going to be super squishy in close range. Okay, so you should also be calculated with blink. Kind of recognize your map position. Remember, the direction of blink isn't just straight. You can pull backwards, forwards, side to side, and then if you're on PC or on Xbox like I am, you can go diagonally and stuff like that, and you can kind of get used to it. Just remember that you want to make sure you recognize your map position, because you will blink straight off. I've done that several times myself, and I always get angry because then I have to use my recall. So, Recall is another one of Tracer's abilities. When you use it, your health comes back to the value that you were at before. Your weapons are at full ammo, and you are invincible for 1.25 seconds. So, if somebody just put down their ult, it's a good way to get the hell out of there and, avoid all that damage. There's no reason for you to die. Basically, like, as long as you recall at the right time, you blink out at the right time, you could always go back and get health. That will help increase your longevity. So don't just, charge in there and die. That doesn't help anybody. Charge in there, go for the soft targets, and do your job, because that's what you're there for. Finally, her ult is the most dreaded Pulse Bomb. With the ability to stick your enemy, it has a 3-meter radius with 400 damage, so that's massive. If you stick your enemy, it adds an additional 5 damage, 10 if you crit. Pulse bombs are difficult to stick, so my suggestion here is that you hold the reticle just a little bit above your enemy or aiming at their head, and then that way it doesn't just flop straight to the ground, because the range on it is pretty shitty. So make sure that you're kind of aiming just a little bit above them, and you'll get that stick off, okay? So overall, Tracer can be in a very aggressive, effective backline player, so make sure you're always flanking, getting in behind your enemies, because you're not going to be able to take people one-on-one. Mostly I find her effective on payload matches as either an attacker or a defender. It really depends on what you want to do. Soft targets, again, should be your priority. By taking out the enemy team's healers and snipers, you effectively render that team ineffective in the long run. So just continuously harass, and you'll get there. Pay attention to your health and where you are on the map. Again, you don't want to go blinking off, and you don't want to just die and then have to flop back in there again. I've seen a lot of good Tracers fling themselves off the map on accident, and I bet I've seen some amazing plays where they effectively took us out with just one good blink. By throwing off your enemy's game plan, you can really reduce their effectiveness. And that's all I got for you today, guys. My name is Witterfish, and again, if you guys like this video, please subscribe, please like, leave comments down below. Let me know what you want to see next. I really like Tracer. I think that you guys probably do too. She's going to just be a huge pain in the butt sometimes to fight against. So go out, try her, let me know what you think, and you guys all have a great one. I'll talk to you later. Peace.